Hello again, everybody. Today I'm going to be working on modeling this guitar for my character, and I've got a bunch of reference sitting here off screen that you can't see, and I've also got an image plane set up in Maya so that I can get sort of basic dimensions and stuff as I go along. Now, obviously I'm not going to perfectly replicate this guitar, not only because that would be a challenge, but also because IP says don't make direct copies of things. So we're going to make something very similar to this. But also, this is a fantasy game, so I will want to do some stuff to fancy this thing up a little bit. I'm going to start with some basic box modeling. Let's just get myself a cube here. And we will make our cube, I don't know, what's a guitar, probably about 40 millimeters. So flying V guitars are pretty simple shapes, so this should be pretty quick build, I hope. I do not want to grab that. Let's put our plane, our image plane, on another layer and just lock that baby down. So I should not be able to mess with that anymore. Beautiful. And that's the point of our flying V there. So what I'll do first off is just add an edge loop. I should make sure my edge loop is set to 1. Beautiful. So I'll put an edge loop roughly there. And it's always a little dodgy to have just a single point. So I'll actually just change that. I'll just spread it out a little bit. The problem with having points is when you come to UVing and texturing, particularly, it's likely that I'll take this into ZBrush and do some detailing on it in ZBrush. If your geometry is too pointy, things just crush into tiny little spikes and things. That's not what you want. So it's always a good idea to, instead of sharpening things to a point, to actually model them slightly rounded or slightly wider than you actually want them to start with, at least. You can mess around with it later. You see, I'm just putting a straight edge there, which might be fine. It's going to be relatively low poly, but I probably will round that off a little bit when we get to that point. Pull these out and move them back a little bit. So that's it. I mean, that's basically the shape of the guitar. If we have a look. Now I will, I'm just going to be sort of estimating and doing a little bit. I have, I'm not a particularly good guitar player at all, but I have played the odd guitar, so, I've got some idea of what a guitar actually looks like. So that bit behind the neck there, this bit here, that'll be coming out, and I've actually got on my reference imagery, which apparently has decided not to be sitting at the front, even though it should be staying on top. Let's see, canvas. I don't use this reference software very much, even though it's very good. I just rarely keep reference software open. I wonder why this doesn't want to float on top. Well, you'll just have to trust me that I have some reference image and it shows the back of the guitar. There is not much on the back here. That's pretty much just a very little promontory there, and there's a big lock nut on the back. So I'm just going to extend this just a little bit. Face. Or just extrude this face out a little. And it's got that kind of curve, so we'll come back into the front view. Shrink this down a little. Just that sticks out a bit. I'll extrude that edge again. And shrink it down a little more. And that is basically the back of our guitar. Pull this face up, or pull this edge up, because that will round off. And that is pretty much the basic shape for this. This is a Jackson King V, which is a guitar apparently that Kirk Hammett played at some point in his career. I quite liked the look of it. I thought a flying V might be a cool guitar to do. So I'm going to hide that, and we'll start working on the neck, which again is pretty much just a box with a bit of shape. Somewhere. Wonder if we can do it here. I know I can turn the various polygon display. That's what I want. Toggle centers. No, I want to wireframe it. Can I do that in here? What I want to do is wireframe this, but have the... Oh, I know what I can do instead. I'll just lazy way it. We'll go into transparency mode. Save me having to learn anything. Learning sucks, right? Right, how am I able to grab that again? You're supposed to be on a layer or locked away. Add selected object. Lock you, please. No, you don't want to be, you don't want to be held down. I don't believe in you. It's very rude. All right. No, enough of my random mumblings. All right, so we'll get the bridge, or I guess this is the whole neck. Bit of that. Meanwhile, in the background, you can't hear it, but I'm listening to the Brutal Legend soundtrack. Brutal Legend is a bit of an inspiration for this project. Got some, I think this is Rammstein going on. Alright, that looks good. And for some of this, for example, the top, I'm just going to sort of eyeball this. I should probably unhide the other part so I can actually line this up. I'm very clever sometimes. Alright, so I'm just going to snap that there. And I'll snap this there. But if we just snap it directly, we'll end up with a bit of Z fighting. And I don't really want to hollow this bit out, because that's just geometry that we don't need in this project. So what I'll do is just do the sneaky, and we'll just pull this out a tiny bit, which no one will notice except for you guys, because you know that I've done it now. Just pull that out a little bit, and that'll stop any Z fighting from occurring in-game, or even when we start texturing it later. Alright, now I need to round this off a little bit, so again we'll go into edge mode, certain edge loop here, and I'll line that edge loop up with this cutout here, and then we'll put another edge loop up here somewhere. On the back of this guitar, it doesn't actually have a whole lot of taper at this point, so I'll put it about there, and then we'll just pull this one down. Whoops. Just pull this one down a little. Now we're going to have a bit of Z fighting there, so I might... how much do I care? That's the question. I think I care enough. So let's just go into wireframe mode here. Grab that edge. And I'm going to align that edge to this vertex here and pull it in there. That works. Okay. Now, the other thing we want to do is give the neck itself a bit of a taper. It's actually one piece with the head, as you know most guitars are, so the head of the guitar would actually be part of this block, but I'm not going to do that. Just for, again, keeping it simple. I don't want to spend too long. I already spent too long yesterday on the character, so I don't want to spend more. Basically, I don't want to spend any more than today on basic art. It's weird. Some of my stuff is floating on top, and some of it's not. It's really odd. I don't know what's going on there. All right, so we'll put a couple of edge loops in so that we can do a bit of shape, and it looks like tapers fairly evenly down the center. The center is a little wider than the edges, so something like that, and then it's a tiny bit wider at this end, but not very much, and then it tapers right out here. Come back, please. That's what I want. There. I don't want to do the other side. I only want to do this side. And I don't want those internal ones. I only want these external ones. Something like that. And then grab these. Something like that. I'll pull this end out a tiny little bit as well, just to maintain the shape along the whole thing. That's looking pretty good for not doing much work. Just get rid of the history on both these. Probably a good time to save. I don't actually know what this part of a guitar is called. I'm just going to call it wedge because it's a flying V. I'm sure I do know what that part of a guitar is called and just can't think of it right now. Alright, what do I want to do with the head itself? I think what I'm going to do is duplicate that, grab these front faces, get rid of the rest. And I think I'll do an extrusion. And I think we'll work from here, because this way we can keep the end of that neck intact, and keep that blended together, which I think will be cool. I'll pull you back here. Now, what shape do we need to achieve? We need to come up around this corner, and we're going to need a couple of edges here to get a bit of curve on that. And that comes straight down. So I think, oh, that was strange. Sometimes things just do weird stuff. Computers, eh? Okay. Pull that out. So obviously this image isn't perfectly flat, which is fine. It's not a big deal to work with. So basically what I'm doing here, you can't see it, but to select this edge, an easy way to do that in 3D software is just select this whole thing, and then I'm removing that part. It's usually a lot easier than moving stuff around and trying to fiddle with it. So I'm doing that here. You can't see that edge, but I know it's selected. So that's just a little tip if you're new to modeling or want to get into modeling. There's a lot of little things like that that are just stuff you'll learn along the way. Move this back so it looks like a bit more of a curve, and I'll probably add some more geometry here. Now the question is, how good do I want to be about my geometry? I guess I am probably going to take this into ZBrush. So decent geometry is a good idea. Not super duper good geometry, but having something that's decent is a good idea. But I will be kind of lazy, I think, and we'll just do this pretty roughly. Pull you all the way out to the end. Get you about there. Looks about right for the bottom one. That gives a little bit of curve on the end there. And obviously I want more curve here, so I'm going to go back, and I think our edge loops are already set to add 2. I might add 3 on this actually. Let's add 3 edge loops here. And just push those around a little bit. Alright, and then what we can do in theory, if it works nicely, as it usually does, we do this edit edge flow. It wants to do the outside, which isn't what I want at all. Alright, so I'll try doing it this way instead. Just grab those 3. See what that does. No, it's gonna keeps wanting to do the whole thing. Alright, so instead of doing it that way, let's try a bit of averaging vertexes instead. That's nicer. I just got to check and see whether it's flattened it out or left it flat. Yep, front side's flat as it should be. And then we can use these ones on the back. This is why I extended the neck out rather than just starting a new bit of geometry, because we've got this, so this is lined up with that. If I turn the edges on, waveframe unshaded. You can, so our geometry is just lining up directly from there, and I can actually cut the sides out here and glue these together and turn that back into one bit of geometry, as it would be in a real guitar. Pull that down. So this is how a real guitar does get shaped. They'll always come down, and also this will generally be this will be angled back a little bit. So I'll grab that whole thing. We'll move our pivot point over here. Grab a rotate, and I'll actually make sure our pivot point is on the outer edge here. No, that's not where I want it. I want it on one of these. And we'll just taper that back a little, or lean that back a little bit. Just going to move my reference off somewhere else for the time being. It's in my way a little. Alright, so that gives us a rough guitar shape. Pull these around a little bit just to make that a bit more pronounced. Pull that one out as well. And I think what I might do now is just change the shader that's on these, which I'm holding down the wrong button for, apparently. What's the add a shader? Okay, don't press anything to add a shader. Just going to change this to a Fong shader. Did that actually work? I see no difference. Let's assign a new material then. Maybe our lighting's not. Maybe I need to add a light in order to actually see anything. I don't think I should have to. Default lighting should. Yeah, there's definitely something going on here. Why is that not? It's definitely made the shader. Okay, apparently it just wasn't assigning the shader. So you see it's more reflective now. So if I turn the edges off, you see we get a little bit of reflection now. Alright, I'm going to just soften harden this to get the normals a little bit better, just temporarily. Okay, we want these two. These two. Yeah, just those. So what I'm going to do is just make sure those are planar. Well, actually, planar's not going to work because we curved this back. Alright, I have to do this slightly differently. And I'm just going to also reset my tool because I moved that. I removed that. We just won't do that at all. We're just going to trust the geometry. You should never do. Yeah, I want to line those up. I knew that was wrong. Alright, let's do this. Oh, it's the top and the bottom that I'm lining up then, isn't it? So what we'll do is move this one out. It's not really what I want either, though. I'm not going to spend too long on this. This is just me getting a bit pedantic. Move these back in a little bit. That'll do. It's a bit rough, but just average that one. No. Alright, I'm just gonna back away from that because I'll sit here and do this all day, which is stupid. Okay, so I'm going to grab both of these. I'm going to basically do that same selection trick that I did before. Get rid of that, get rid of that. So that means I'm now holding on to the edges inside here. I'm going to delete those. And then I'm going to grab these vertices. And we're going to say join these vertices, the ones that are close together. So now, if we grab this, this is should be all one object, but I forgot a step because I'm a silly. First thing I need to do is actually combine these objects. So now they are one object. That's a silly mistake. And now we will merge the vertices. And now, when we come back in, that's one vertex. So this is now all one. So the neck is now all one piece, as it should be in a real guitar. And you can see the normals are messed up there, where I join them together, because they need to be redone across that gap. So there you go, beautiful. So we've got our neck, and I think I might actually, because of the style particularly for this game, everything's a bit exaggerated. I'm just going to exaggerate that, exaggerate this a fair bit. Just make sure I don't have the bottom one there. Pull that out. Go to edges here because I want to do a few of them. I'll just pull this whole piece out a bit. And then match that curve a little. And that gives us a much nicer exaggeration on the back of the neck there. Which once we shade that with something shiny, that'll be a lot more obvious. Although, you know, in a game, you're not going to see the back of the guitar very much, I don't think. Alright, so let's do a little bit of shaping on this portion. And get this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, and down here as well. Get these four, and then we're going to just apply a bevel here, just to get a bit of roundness. Check out how it looks up here. Yep, that's good. So that should be enough for our low poly. Although we could easily add a little more detail there, but so what I'm doing now, you can see doing that bevel has created n-gons on these sides, so shapes with more than four faces. So we're just putting these corners in so that the big V's are only four-sided, or should only be four-sided at the moment. It's the sort of thing double check once you got most things done. So there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And we will do basically the same thing along here. in this case, let's do the whole shebang. Just see how that turns out. Sometimes not doing the whole edge can be a bit weird. Why is that split up there? So something's maybe not welded. Oh, that'll be that internal edge. Okay, so I'm just going to, we're going to focus on this piece here. The way that we set this up before. Oh no, there's not a double edge there. Going to hide some of this, just see if there's anything going on inside. No, it looks good. So why did it split that up? I wonder if something needs welding. Let's just try a quick weld. Alright, that's better. Alright, good. Okay. So, oh, that one. Oh, that one. Oh, this whole loop. No, won't bother doing that one. No, we back to our old tricks. Alright, I'll fix that manually. That's fine. Not sure why it's doing that, but it's not a big deal. Let's do it on top as well. Oh well. I am curious what's going on with the geometry here. Doesn't seem like anything's going on with it. I don't know why it's doing that. That's easy fix. Just weld these back in. Alright, where are you two going? You're going to the back of the V, so it doesn't matter where we connect these. Again, we've created some N-gons here that we'll have to fix in a moment. This is just the nature of doing this kind of stuff, that you end up creating strange edges and things that you need to think about fixing, or decide whether you need to fix or want to fix. Because most software, even Unity, is actually pretty okay with having N-gons. But some things, and ZBrush is one of them, do not like N-gons at all. And the main reason you want to solve N-gons is anytime you put something, particularly doing game graphics, anytime you put something in an engine like Unity, it will automatically triangulate all your edges. So if you have N-gons across a surface and there's curves or things like that, you don't know how the engine is going to triangulate those surfaces, and it could do some really strange stuff that you do not want at all. Oh man, this has made some bizarre ass edges. Alright, okay, that is a problem. We're going to undo all of that. That is an issue. I don't even know why it selected these edges, to be honest. They should not be part of the program at all. That is strange. But this is why you should always when you do something like beveling, or particularly when you smooth something, just check what's going on, because it can do something very strange like that. Makes no sense to anyone. I didn't do these ones last time, but I am going to do them this time. No, I'm not. I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind again. Unless I just want... Do I want to do the whole thing now? Do I want to just do the big bevel now? Screw it. I think we'll just do the big bevel now. So I was going to do this in 2 stages, but that's just going to create more work for me, really. Don't want to do that one or that one. If we're doing the big bevel now, we won't bother doing that one. We'll do this one. And this is something as well where making sure you've taken care of those n-gons before you do this kind of thing will help you in the end. It should help you stop any weirdness coming up while you're working on this sort of stuff. One of the ways to tell if something really strange might happen is if I hit 3 to go into smooth mode. We can see if the smoothing does anything particularly strange, and it hasn't here. Like, obviously this looks weird, but you can see it's roughly the right shape. You know, we've got that bottom, we've got where the ledge is here, so this bit here is just stretched out to there, and it's gone back to the back of the V, and it's going around the ends properly. So that tells us that basically that we've gotten rid of those n-gons, and it's not guessing anything. It's doing roughly what we would expect. And in fact, it's very easy if I wanted to, you know, constrain that more to the actual shape. It's very easy by putting in supporting edges, which I talked about in, I think, the last stream. Okay. We bevel this. It has beveled a bit, which is good. It's a good sign when it doesn't make a tiny bevel. It usually means something's gone wrong if it does tiny bevel. I would still love to know what is going on here. But it's just not a problem, so let's not worry about it. Okay, that's relatively okay. Actually try doing this without this one included. Oh yeah, it's much nicer. It's beveled around there beautifully. Alright, have a quick look at my reference. And I just want to have a look sort of at have a look at the head here. So it really is a wedge, not a rounded. I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. I think I'm just going to round it off. Which, you know, hooray, that'll help us with our potential. Obviously, this is a stupid indie game. No one's going to be suing me for copying their their fancy guitar from 1997 or whatever. But if we were making a real game, that could be a legitimate concern that I'd made the model too close. And this is the problem with having these wacky edges here, is that that is not a good look, and it's the only bit that's gone funny. just going to undo this and I'm going to think about this for a minute. Why would it be doing that? They're all proper polygons, or they're all quads rather. That stuff's all attached. You're a proper polygon, you're a proper polygon, a proper quad. Probably going to keep doing that, so I'm not going to keep correcting myself. Just going to run a quick mesh cleanup. Select matching polygons, apply to selected objects, get rid of that. Faces more than 4 sides. Yes, there's nothing with more than 4 sides, which is good. It means we've got rid of all our angons. But why, oh why? And how can that even happen? How can I double click that and get, there's definitely something. Okay, there is. There's an internal face, I think. But how is there an internal face? I hit geometry and check before. There is no internal face. How is this geometry separate? What is wrong here? What is wrong here? All right, edge clean or cleanup function. Let's check some more stuff. Is anything of a whole? Is anything non-planar? Is anything sharing non-manifold? It's not selecting any edges. Faces with no geometry. So it's definitely got issues with the neck, but the body seems perfect. Body, that's what it's called. It is the body of the guitar. I knew I'd come up with it eventually. Why are these considering themselves separate? That just makes absolutely no sense at all to me. What happens if I select here? Alright, I'm going to step away for a second. I'll be back. All right. I still haven't found the solution, but I've turned the fan on, so hopefully the noise isn't too horrible from that. I've had a good look for internal geometry. There is definitely no bad internal geometry. I have tried changing some stuff, which hasn't helped, but there's some more options, although I don't necessarily like them. What I might do... If I put a break there, go there, and then we come across, that'll be a big quad. All right, I think we might try this option. What I'm going to do is just duplicate that and hide the copy of it, just in case I royally make a horrible mess here. I'm going to get rid of these entirely. So obviously we just created a massive n-gon there. What I'm going to do though is split this n-gon up manually. Hopefully this will work. It did, good. Sometimes those can be a bit of a pain in the bum. And then we'll connect these. So now this is one big quad at the front without stretching all the way back, which is better for UVs as well, honestly. You don't want to have small things, and when you get pointy stuff, like having that line all the way across here that turned into a point at the other end, you end up with just really narrow UVs. Now let's see if this helped. Oh, well, at least got the bottom this time. And it's not selecting through to this edge, which is a good sign. I don't know why it's not coming around to the top, but that is a positive change. So obviously something was going on there. All right, let's see what happens. No, we're not doing that one. We're doing that one. All right, so we still get that nonsense. So I wonder if what I just need to do is split this up a bit. I wonder if it's just the edge flow is too messed up here. That should go all the way around the top though. I don't know why. I can't see any reason that wouldn't just go all the way around the top. looks like a pentagram in underpants. Just gonna move these along just to get the geometry across this whole face a bit more even. I wish I knew why. Like maybe it's because it's a star, like we've got 5 points. I wonder if I can trick it. Get rid of these, which has created an n-gon, that's fine. Yeah, see now it's going along there. I think that's why. I think it's just the edge flow. wants to go in a different direction. So what I need to do is break that edge flow. Because I want that line to go all the way down. Again, I really don't know why it's decided that it has to go off this way instead of continuing straight along. But I am not a master modeler, so that's what I want. How bad is it going to be to fix that later if I do this? What if I... No, neither of those are splitting it up. I honestly just don't know how to fix this. So, I think the lesser of two evils is probably pulling that out. Those. Definitely something wacky with this geometry that I am just not equipped to sort out. Yeah, and the reality is we can't even see what's going on in there anyway, so it's really not an issue. And hopefully we shouldn't have too many end-on edges to fix here. This one here is the kind of thing you don't really want, because I will create, if I do this, I create this very small polygon, a very thin polygon there. It's not ideal, and also when I fix these ones, I'm going to make a little wedge, which, you know, it's okay, particularly given this is game geometry. It's not going to need to deform or anything. but ideally you would reconfigure a bunch of this. All these little ugly things here. And this is the easy bit. I think these ones, like I'm just gonna weld these in here. Don't mess around too much with that. Oh, let me select the bloody thing. Alright, that looks pretty good, I think, for being a bit jank. Alright, let's go sort out the rest of it. I'm sure there will be some horribleness at this end as well. That is kind of gross. I don't know why it did that, that's just weird. That's very interesting. What is wrong here that caused that? Oh, consonant. That's pretty annoying. Can I deselect the edge, please, guys? Oh, you can see there too, that normal is just weird. I swear there's two. But there's not. There's not. If I wasn't just trying to get this done, I would honestly just rebuild this whole thing and try and figure out what went wrong. Alright, since we're back here, I might do this a different way. Let's have a look. Is there a much better way to do it? If I do that. Alright, I won't do that. Let's take that one off. Do you? Do you? And then so that looks a little bit nicer. Nice flat area there. Still make this a bit ugly. That's alright. It's not the right. Oh no, what's the right vertex? Check the other side, of course. Same thing up here. Looks alright. As you can see now, when I put that Fong shader on earlier, you can see how it's really picking up the edges now that we've smoothed them out. Alright, now here's where I really want to use my... Oop, I'm going to actually clean up. I want to... grab my cleanup options. Select, apply to polygonal. Just selected. I don't care about any of this stuff anymore. Alright, how many n-gons do we have? Still got a few. Why are you an n-gon? Because that one. And that one. Oh, now why is this front one an n-gon? It's not, it was just lying to me. Looks like it was just lying to me. And you can see here that obviously something is wrong here as well. So we're getting this weird reflective state here. There's definitely something about the geometry of this part that it just doesn't like. I wonder what will happen if I just delete that. Goes away. So it's definitely something in the way it's connecting there. I'm going to unhide the rest. There's not really anything that I can just delete there. What we can do, just to alleviate that a little bit, hopefully, let's come in on the side here. Select all this. Which all looks like it's nicely lined up, but just in case it's not. I see, this is not a straight line. Where's our... Or at least that has fixed up a lot of this janky reflection here. Alright, beautiful. Guitar. Obviously we're not done yet. Just delete histories again. Come back into our front view. And I don't want to really fully detail this thing crazy, but I do want to put a bunch of details on here. So again, just same trick, where we're gonna select our faces, get rid of the ones we don't want. And then I'm also going to come in here, just shorten these up, because if we make them bigger than they need to be, when we come to do UVs later, they'll just take up more space than they need to, which you don't really want. It just becomes an exercise in looking for space that you could have saved. Space, it's the theme. Give these a bit of a taper. Oh. Go by components, they do it for themselves. And then just give those a gentle bevel. You know what else I might do? Fancy shit now. Look at that fanciness. Even got a little rim on the bottom. That's the pro shit right there. Alright. Let's put in some semblance of the pickups and the mechanics. Well, this thing only got 2 pickups. Alright, so we've got the 2 big pickups. And then you've just got all the tensioning and stuff there, which we're obviously not going to be modeling all of that, because that is product design or product rendering, whatever, and I'm just not doing it. We're only making a simple little thing for a game. 5, not 50. Just going to pop the guitar itself into a layer and lock it down to keep it out of the way. And what we'll do is just make 2 of the same pickup and place them roughly in the right spot. That'll do for that. Duplicate that. So just rounding off the edge of the base of the pickup. And then we'll grab all the top edges of that. And bevel those slightly. So we get just a nice little box here. And then why is it not letting me grab the box on the inside? Jerk. What have I done? Good question. Alright. Get our box from the inside. Does this have a back on it? Yeah. Bye back. Same for you. Oh, this might not have a back. Oh, no, it does. Alright, get rid of the backs on both of those. I don't know why I can't see this in this view. Why are you invisible in one view? Oh, I'm an idiot. God, I'm such an idiot. What a monkey. Alright. So this is the actual pickup. So we are going to do a big bevel on this one because they're usually rounded. That looks good. Which way will I connect these? Just straight across, I think. I might be able to, probably be able to mirror these. Let's go object Y. No, it doesn't want to pick up a mirroring on any of them. It's a bit of a pain. Oh, for the love of God. Just select yourselves, will you? No, I don't want to select like that because then I'm going to get the ones at the back. I don't want the ones at the back. Now I can do it though. If do it this way. Is that right? Or am I stupid? I want them from front or the back. Oh, which is the side, because of course it is. Connect you. Keep up, Maya. Making yourself look bad. Alright, beautiful. Beautiful. That's a weird angle. At the top, and do the same thing as we did before. We'll just bevel this gently. I mean, we're still super low poly on this whole object, so we are doing fine. Come over. So these don't have exposed coils, so we don't need to do anything there. And we can put all this stuff in texturing. Combine these. worrying about naming things too much, because at the end of all this, we will combine everything and they'll lose their names anyway. So I'm only really giving names to things that I need names on for my own reference. For a letter. And just realised we'll get rid of 2 of these, put those back on later as well. In fact, we don't need both the pickups either. Put that back on later. Alright, am I going to model the strings or am I going to texture the strings? I think I'm going to model the strings. No, I don't want to do a transparency either. It's a waste of rendering time. I guess they only need to be flat. Yeah, I'll put them in as planes. That'd be easy enough to do some jiggery pokeries. I'll put these tuning pegs. Tuning pegs and the tuning pegs. All the bits in the machine heads here. Make these stupid simple. I'll go with 8. Maybe a bit right. Maybe a bit too long. Oops, probably didn't get the whole thing there. There's really round knobs on them, don't they? So let us just make these as one piece, I think. That. Make them look like they actually fit there. Same deal here. Let's get a bit of rotation on. So I'm not being exactly perfect here, or even trying to be perfect here, to be fair. Not face. Stop it. Quick bevel. I think a bit, a little, not much, but I think they're a little bit high. And these should be flatter because one needs to grip these easily with one's thumb and forefinger. So they should definitely be an easier, like a chunkier thing that you can grip onto. Oh, don't be that guy. Oh, I hate when it's that guy. Oh, I want you to snap to the center. Symmetry's not on. Why are you? And again, what I just did there, changing the face, the setting, is just stuff you have to learn, because no matter how good the modeling software is, they all suck. Honestly, all 3D software is janky. Whether it be Blender or Maya or 3ds Max or Modo or whatever, they're all honestly kind of shit. It's just one of those industries where they've never really had to improve the user experience, so they don't. It's a real pain in the bum for people such as myself who want to work in that field. All right, so again, we only need one of these right now. I'm really not sure how much detail I want to put in some of these parts. I think this little bridge, I'm just gonna put a box here, basically, just so that we can pretend. Hopefully that's tall enough to hide the strings. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, keep all the edges. Just bevel that whole thing, one little bevel. That looks alright. All right, let's do the bit I don't want to do. Do the bit I've been procrastinating about this whole time. Do some little boxes, maybe. I don't know why these things are deciding to do some wacky angles. So roughly round that off. That's all right. That should be, part of that should be lower. Part of this should be much lower. So who knows? All right. Stop at me. Nearly done. Pull the bottom out a little bit more. This is the mount for our tremolo bar. Should have simplified it before I started modifying the geometry. It's a bit silly of me. Just means I have to go through a bit more of a pain to simplify. Actually, if I push you down and then delete you, then we just get the ring, which is all I really need. Going to align this with the ring. Oh, fuck you. No, it's not right. Oh, that face. And then on this whole edge. Probably be close. Yeah, it's close enough. All right, beautiful. Man, this tremolo bar's tiny. Haha, that's weird. I've never tried that before. Don't try and extrude just the vertices, apparently. Looks like it'd be roughly right. Oi. Spacebar. Behave. Behave. You're upsetting me. So there you go. It's a quick lesson in down and dirty, making sort of round things without actually using round things. Beautiful, close enough. Probably do it being a bit fatter, but hey. Nearly done with this part. Shortly I will go and do the UVing, which I won't stream because that is boring, boring, boring. And for those of you who don't know why I keep deleting the bottom of these things, it's just for saving geometry. No one's ever going to see them, so they don't need to be there. So it's as simple as that. Why didn't you go across the top? Because I need to fix these n-gons first. That's reasonable as a guide without putting too much geometry into it. I just need to make something that looks vaguely like the string holdy thingies. My super guitar knowledge there. Guitar stringy holdy thingies. I'm just going to align these. Give me more aligny things. See, even great Maya knowledge too. Got to have your aligny things. This time I am going to change the scale of it before I mess around. And change you to 8. About there. I think I want to do this on the Z from this angle. Hey, I was right. Must be 90 degrees though. No? Why are you... you were 22.5? You're 22.5, okay. So I'll put the bottom bit on first and then I'll flatten that out if I want to. Point one will be fine, I think. I did not take the bottom off. That was a bit silly. Alright, the rest we can put on through texturing. So it's not too bad. Definitely took longer than I wanted to, because I've still got another major piece that I want to make today, but alright, I'm going to stop the stream and I might be back for texturing it later, but I'm going to go off and UV this thing, which I really don't want to